Welcome to Curriculum Week, and let's talk about 5th grade curriculum choices. Welcome to this House of Walls. My name is Ashley, and I love to talk all things secular homeschooling. Here we are, 5th grade curriculum. Now, to be totally honest, this is my 3rd time filming this video. Yikes. So the first time that I recorded this video was right when I was burning out. And it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I ended up scrapping the whole thing and then not filming anything for over 2 months. The second time that I tried filming was just a couple of days ago. And it actually went great. Everything about it was fantastic. I made it through the first edit and then I enlarged it and saw that I had some leftover lunch stuck in my teeth. So I will share a little picture of that here. I talked about it on my Instagram just to be like, are you serious? But here I am. 3rd time is the charm. We're going to talk about 5th grade curriculum. A little bit of housekeeping and background knowledge beforehand. My youngest son is going to be in 5th grade this year. He has been homeschooled since the end of preschool on. He was in a local preschool that I was actually working at during 2020. So the school closed down for the pandemic. We came home, his lovely teachers put together all kinds of amazing things, so we were able to finish out preschool at home, and then that fall we decided we're going to homeschool, and we haven't looked back. He is living his best life homeschooling and really, really enjoys it. Now for the housekeeping aspect of it, everything that I have here, I have bought with my own money. I am not gifted anything. I am only an affiliate with History Quest, but we are not using them this year. If you're interested in History Quest, I talk about that in other videos, and the link for that is down below. Also, what works for my family and even my individual kids might not work for your family and individual kids. I know that what works for one of my kids probably doesn't work for the other. And so take what I say as a grain of salt. I just love to be here in this space just sharing this information because there's not a lot of spaces in YouTube or anywhere else that talk secular homeschooling. There are some and they are fantastic, but I love to get my kind of input in what we're using. So you'll see I am in a new location. I've been playing around with this new setup of our schoolroom. I have the red chairs that you probably saw me sitting in the last video. Those are fantastic chairs. I just recently inherited them. I love them. They fit perfectly in our schoolroom, but it kind of makes it difficult to find a place to film. So I decided I would film in front of this bookcase. I have the big sliding glass door here in front of me for some natural light, and I kind of like this setup. On that note, let's get into it. Let's go over the curriculum aspects of language arts first. So you will see there's a theme of using what we have. Now, the only thing that we are not going to be using what we have is for this little workbook right here. So this is vocabulary cartoon of the day. My son is really excited about using vocabulary in this way. So this is set up that he can look at the cartoon, read about it. He reads about it here on the side, and then he takes that information into this little vocabulary notebook that I put together for him. The pages in here I bought quite a few years ago, so I didn't even have to buy them this year, and they are from Homeschool of Bel Air, who's here on YouTube and Instagram, and Teachers Pay Teachers. So these little sheets here, he will take that information from that vocabulary workbook and put it in here. So he's really excited about this style of vocabulary, and it's kind of a fun way to expand vocabulary. Next is handwriting, and this is where we are really diving into using what we have. We have 2 Handwriting Without Tears books that are not complete. This one was from his 3rd grade year, and then this one was from 4th grade. He has not finished either one of them, and so the beginning of the school year, that's what he's going to be doing before we purchase another level of Handwriting Without Tears. finish these out. Along with handwriting, he will also be doing typing. I don't have anything for that. He will be using typing.com. It's a free service that you can sign up for. And my oldest has used it and he really enjoyed it. So I figure it's time for my youngest to learn how to type properly. And then for spelling, we are going to continue with using, again, what we have. So last year he used Sequential Spelling Book 1. He really liked this, which is surprising, but there's no busy work. So he just gets a list a day called out to him. He has a separate little notebook that he writes all the words down in. We are able to immediately go over any kind of mistakes and talk about it. So he really likes this setup, and so we are going to continue with this. And then for some grammar. So again, we are continuing with what we used. We made it through halfway of Beowulf's grammar last year, which is fantastic. We really like this setup. It's very hands-on. There's a lot of cutting and gluing. There's some fun cartoons. He has really enjoyed this, and so we are excited to get back into learning grammar from Beowulf for his 5th grade year. And then for writing, which is our last main curriculum component for language arts, we are going to be continuing with Layers of Learning Writer's Workshop. We used this last year. It is a family-style writing program that has many different types of writing components built into here, and it's all in a menu format. So I plan out 4 weeks of each kind of chapter or writing component, and we just kind of go through, pick some amazing things to build those skills. And then at the end of it, we take a piece of writing from beginning to finish and we publish it. And so we have really enjoyed that setup. So we will continue with this. Now this is written basically for the parent or the teacher. So he will have a separate notebook. He had this one last year. One of our first assignments will be to create a new binder cover for it, which is always fun. And then I did leave a couple of like the anchor charts in here because why reprint them? And so we can just reference them as needed. And then of course we have reading. We love to read in our family, and so of course we are going to be incorporating some amazing books this year. Most of these I just went onto our bookshelves that hold chapter books and I pulled off a bunch of books from there. I do have a couple of others that I've been hearing about lately and want to add on. Like there's a Christmas book that I thought would be really fun. So this is a tentative list of books, and we'll see what we get to. So for his readers, we are going to be starting the year with The Tiger Rising by Kate D. Camillo. She's one of our favorite authors. If you have been here before, we talked about some of her books. Obviously, we are going to continue reading some of her books, and this is not his only book by her that he's reading this year. So I have it already set up for the beginning of the school year. I put tabs in books that we are currently reading, and it just lets us know like, hey, you need to read from this tab to this tab. So it's a nice bite-sized portion of the book for that day that they can read, and it just kind of works out well for us. We also have 2 of these Magic Treehouse Fact Checker books. He is not a big fan of the Magic Treehouse books, but he did read one of these fact checker books last year and enjoyed it. So we have Titanic and Abraham Lincoln. So at some point we will pick these up and read about those. We have A Long Walk to Water, Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events #1, Tuck Everlasting, The Tripods, a nice little sci-fi, The Phantom Toll Booth, I'm interested to see his take on this, Wish, Holes, here's that other Kate D. Camillo book, Flora and Ulysses, Pax. Fun fact, his favorite animal is a fox, so I think that he will really enjoy this book. And I have included 1 graphic novel, so this is Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief. So I think this will be a fun addition. And then for some fun read aloud books, we are going to be starting the year with The Penderwicks on Gardam Street. This is book 2 in the Penderwicks series. We read the first one a couple of years ago now and just haven't had a moment to get back into this story with all these sisters. So we are going to make space for it now. I have cat hair. I have tabbed them already, and so again, that just makes it nice bite-sized chunks to read every day. I also have banned this book. So this was from Build Your Library, and we just weren't able to get to it. So I figure that with the current situations right now, this one would be good to include and read, so we are going to get to this one pretty soon in the school year. Then we have the Vanderbeekers in the Hidden Garden. So we read the first Vanderbeekers along the same time that we read the first Penderwicks, and again, just haven't been able to get back to this family. But we enjoyed it so much, and we're really excited to kind of get back and see what happens in the next one. A Place to Hang the Moon. I have been wanting to read this for a while, and so I'm excited to share this with him. A Girl Who Drank the Moon. I've read an adult book by this author, and I'm really excited to try this one out. I've heard amazing things about it. James and the Giant Peach. Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Little Town on the Prairie. So we have read the Little House books up until this point. So again, it will be fun to kind of get back into it and see where the story continues. Mary Poppins, and then the one and only Bob. So we read the one and only Ivan last year, and we're really excited to continue. So now let's move on and let's talk about history. Like I said in the beginning, we have used History Quest and loved them. Unfortunately, we have used all the levels that are currently released. Last year, with using Build Your Library, we brought in Story of the World, and it was okay. It tended to lean very Eurocentric and talking about people who went to these locations, but not really getting into like the people that were already there. So I knew this year I wanted to make a little bit of a change. So we're making the switch to Curiosity Chronicles. This is Snapshots of Modern History Volume 1. There will eventually be 3 volumes for this, but only the first one is released. There will be a little bit of an overlap with some of the history in this and the Story of the World level that we did last year, but that's okay because there will be quite a few different viewpoints in this one that we were not getting from Story of the World. I did hear the author of this speak at a homeschool convention this spring, and so I'm really excited to have her wealth of knowledge here in this book. So this book is in full color and is told in dialogue format, which definitely kind of held us off from using this in the past. But we will check it out. There is an audiobook, and so we will be incorporating that. And again, I think that we will just get so many different voices coming from history. So with the main textbook, I do have the instructor guide, and this again is just a total wealth of information that helps me in planning what we are going to be doing week to week. With that, my son will also be using this binder. He will be creating a binder cover, just like his writing. He enjoys doing that. So you'll see I have 18 different tabs here on the side. There are 18 different sections in the main text with 2 chapters in each section. So that is how I have his binder set up. So here we have the first section with chapter 1 and a couple of the worksheets that go with it. And then chapter 2 and a couple of the worksheets that go with it. This also will be really nice because if we incorporate any kind of other activity, we can easily put it here into his binder. So we have that. And then of course we have the School Nest History Timeline Notebook. We have been using this since he was in first grade and we started with early times. We have really enjoyed seeing some overlap of history throughout the years. And I think that we will get some of that this year, and it will be a lot of fun to continue filling this out. And then, of course, I have some amazing reference books that will go with that. So the first is the Usborne Encyclopedia of World History. We have used this for years now. So we have pretty much hit almost all of it. We will still use some of it, but I think that we will be using the Kingfisher History Encyclopedia a lot more. This is just a little bigger, a little bit more, I think, just full of some different kind of information that will be fun to pull in. We also have this DK Smithsonian History Year by Year. We have actually had this since before we started homeschooling, and my kids frequently like to just grab it and open it and read a little bit of it. So again, something really fun to pull into our school year. This next book is not assigned with Curiosity Chronicles, but we have used it quite a few years now. I like how it kind of brings history to kind of life a little bit. So we have A Child Through Time, a book of children's history. So in this, you meet a child in a different time like this. And you get to know about them and their clothing and how they lived and what they ate. So it's a nice, fun way to kind of bring history to life. 2 books that were recommended with Curiosity Chronicles. We have Amazing Decades in Photos, so the 1900s and the 1910s, so we will pull those in as they are assigned. And then I don't have a lot of picture books, but I will be using them. My plan is that every month or so, I will go through the list of books and find some from the library and pull those in that way. I did go ahead and purchase 1 book because we will be using it a couple different times throughout Curiosity Chronicles, and that is Bravo, Poems About Amazing Hispanics. And I thought also this would be nice to have here on the bookshelves. And now for science. If you have shopped for secular homeschool science before, you know that it is a challenge. We definitely were kind of keeping our options open and looking through quite a few things. I then saw somebody else talking about this, and I thought it might be a good match for us. It is put out by Elemental Science, and we have used a couple of their other sciences before, but we have never used this one. So we are going to be checking out Science Chunks. This will be a full year curriculum because I bought year A. So I think there's A, B, and C. You can also just get the individual units by themselves. I decided to just get the whole year. So we will be doing plants, a little unit on Mendel, major biomes, solar system, atoms and molecules, light, and sound. So we're really excited about the setup of this. Let me open up. So this is lesson 1. It's hard to show nicely because my email address is printed on the bottom, which is a little unfortunate. But here's lesson 1 for the plants. So we have reading assignments, optional books from the library, vocabulary, and then lap booking and notebooking pages. There's also hands-on science activities. I did purchase a science kit that you are able to get for this, and I think that will make it a lot easier to do some of these activities. So how are we setting all of this up? Let me show you. This is what I have for my son to use. This is just construction paper, and I have glued in all the things for it and bound it together. I think that this will be a really fun way for him to do all of these kind of lap booking and notebooking pages. So here's our first unit, plants. So the first day of that unit, he will color this in. And then we have all of these amazing lap booking pages that we can fill in and color and just learn all kinds of amazing things about. I also put the vocabulary here at the back of the unit. I do also have lab reports, and so as we need those for different labs, we can fill those out. I have a couple of blank construction pieces of paper at the back of the book, so we can glue those in if we would like. And then of course we have all kinds of amazing books. So the first one is the Usborne Science Encyclopedia. We've had this for a while, and again, he likes to just kind of go through it, but I'm really interested to actually go through it with him and pull some of this out and incorporate it into a science lesson. We also have the Kingfisher Science Encyclopedia. This one is new to us. It's a DK Smithsonian Super Earth Encyclopedia. And again, like the history, I am not planning on buying a bunch of picture books. I will be going through the list probably every month and getting a bunch from the library that we can use. I did purchase this one because it is incorporated with the week-long unit for Gregor Mendel. So I have this little book about Gregor Mendel. And moving right along, let's talk about math. I don't have it yet. If you have seen any of my previous videos about math, you know that we love Math with Confidence. The grade 5 will be coming out. I am going to be pre-ordering it. Hopefully it will be here in time before we start our school year. We will see. But here's the picture of it. We absolutely love it. We're really excited to get into this new level. Overall, it looks like it will be the same kind of setup that we have used for our 3rd and 4th grade, where there's different units, and at the end of every unit there is kind of a unit wrap-up with some review pages and special activities that you can do along with a picture book. We don't necessarily do the kind of special activities. We do use the picture books. Usually I just pull them up on Hoopla or YouTube and watch it from there. For 5th grade, there won't be picture books. So it's actually going to be just one book, and it looks really cute. This is How Many Guinea Pigs Can Fit on a Plane? Answers to Your Most Clever Math Questions. So I think that this is just a fun little book that will answer all kinds of silly math questions. So that is the majority of our curriculum. This past year, we had family subjects on Friday. Because my oldest son will be in 9th grade and he has his own interests and things that he would like to learn, we are not going to be doing family subjects anymore. But my 5th grader and I still have that space that, all right, well, what subjects do we want to bring in? We will be continuing on with this Blossom and Rue art study. We only made it through 2 of the artists, so I think we have 7 left. We'll make it through as many as we want, but it has been really fun to go through these. With that, I like to incorporate a couple of different books, one of them being Vincent's Starry Night and Other Stories. And this, it just has little 3-page stories about all kinds of different artists. And then we also have this DK, The Arts of Visual Encyclopedia. We've had this for years. We actually used some of it for Build Your Library for last year. I would like to incorporate this a little bit more as we are learning about that artist and the time period that they are painting from, and just kind of get a little bit more of a backstory. Along with that, I would like to pull in some more poetry kind of studies. I have not found a really good poet study. If you know of anything, let me know down in the comments. I want it to be an expanse of different poets from all kinds of different backgrounds. For right now, I do have this. This is the Poetry of Science. We used some of this last year and then just didn't finish it. But it was fun, and it would be fun to just kind of continue through some of these little science poems. I do have a couple of other poetry books that I could pull in. I might even just create my own poet study if I don't find anything and just do it that way. And then I do have this Shakespeare book. This is a stage full of Shakespeare stories. We have tried to use this quite a few times, and we usually get a story in, and then other stuff comes up. We have made it all the way to Othello, and so we would like to kind of continue on with this. It has a cast of characters and then goes into an abbreviated story of the original. With doing this, I do have Who Was William Shakespeare. I read it with my kids now a handful of years ago, so my 5th grader could probably use a refresher on that, so I might pull that in before we get back into any of these Shakespeare stories. And then whatever else we would like to study. If there's a holiday that we want to do a little bit of a study with, I know during Christmas it's fun to bring in a ton of Christmas activities. I also might be bringing in some Greek mythology. We have not studied that before, and so that would be kind of fun to go through. This is just what I have set aside currently, and we'll kind of go from there. We do also have our co-op, which meets 1 day a week, and so we'll be doing some fun classes there. I think that's it. I think we have hit everything. Whew. Yikes. Okay, 3rd time is the charm. Let's go. I'm really excited to continue this curriculum week. The next video will be 9th grade and all of the things that we have planned for my son's first year of high school. And then after that, I have some planning videos that I want to bring in. I have my planner all set up and I've already had some people asking about it. So that video will be coming. And then fingers crossed that this burnout is over and I will continue to share more about our homeschooling. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and I'll be back for more soon.